The name of the park comes from the pre-Hispanic culture Machalilla, which occupied this zone during 1,800 years to 1,000 years before Christ. The area of Machalilla National Park holds archaeological evidence of different cultures in a long-term period, like Valdivia culture 5,000 years ago and Manteño-Huancavilta culture 500 years ago. It's one of the first protected areas in Ecuador, declared in 1979. The Tropic of Capricorn is parallel to the southern hemisphere. It is located at a latitude of 23 grades, 26 minutes, and 70 seconds south of the equator. This imaginary line delimits the southernmost points where the sun can occupy the zenith at noon. Machalilla National Park is located in the southwest of Manabí. There are several hydrographic basins such as Cantagallo, Jipijapa, Salaite, Buenavista, and Ayampe. The total extension of Machalilla MP is 41,754 terrestrial hectares and 14,430 marine hectares. Unlike Galapagos that has the national park and the marine reserve, Machalilla MP has its marine protected area within the park. It means that it's the only marine reserve in continental Ecuador. There are several islands and islets, like Horno de Pan, Sucre, and Isla de la Plata. Dry forest. Machalilla MP faces the northern region of the cold Humboldt Current. Cloud forest. Machalilla MP occupies a significant part of the Cordillera Chongon-Colonche. According to BirdLife International, Isla de la Plata is an IVA, important bird area, because of its composition similar to Galapagos but affected by the marine currents in a different way. Los Frailes has maintained its natural state as a desert-like ecosystem.
I'm going to talk about natural resources in Machalilla National Park. This park is one of the biggest protected areas in Ecuador. It has both a sea and a continental part, so the biodiversity is its most valuable resource. The park is home for over 150 species of flora, 21 mammals including whales in determined time of the year, 270 different birds, 7 species of amphibians, and 75 coral reef fishes. The park's biodiversity increases throughout the year. For example, whales visit the park sea to mate and give birth in the warm water from Ecuador Sea, which is warmed by the Corriente Cálida del Niño. By the correct management of the park, Machalilla National Park has been able to become one of the most visited parks in Ecuador. Now talking about ecosystem services, the most visited park in the coast, the government recognizes Machalilla's touristic approach in a responsible way. There are very meticulous rules to follow when you visit the park to prevent any harm to the protected area. Tourism is the main economic activity that the park produces by itself, but not the only one. The communities near the park also benefit from the controlled collection and cultivation of different seeds, mainly tagua or vegetable ivory. Tagua relieves pressure from the ivory trade because of their similarities. Ivory is known for being collected from vertebrates' teeth, mainly from elephants' tusks. Tagua is an eco-friendly resource because the tree does not need to be cut down to collect tagua, and most importantly, it lowers the demand for ivory and therefore diminishes the hunting of animals to extract the ivory illegally. The locals also tend to make artisan work from tagua seeds, so the collection of natural flora is mostly used for decoration art. It does not affect the environment because it is a controlled activity, where the person takes the seeds to plant them in their own houses, and therefore harvest their own production.
The greatest threats to this national park are extreme droughts or extreme floods and climate change in general. These threats cannot be predicted, so a clear solution cannot be found. The impacts that the Machalilla National Park could suffer due to climatic changes would be extreme waves, tidal waves, alterations of runoff and acidification of the oceans, in addition to taking into account the decrease or loss of various coral colonies, greater salinization process in the coastal forest, possible erosion in beach areas, and damage to the infrastructure that promote and allow tourism. It is vital to promote effective wildlife management in protected areas. Since there are species such as humpback whales, the green macaw, jaguars, peccaries, and giant mantas, to manage these species, new policies should be managed to procure the space. This in front of those who have visits to the park and always keep in mind the growth of species populations. Ensuring their protection begins with accurate, up-to-date information on which species are present in an area. What we are referring to is that by means of data collection, that can be the manifestation if there is an increase or absence of species, to know if they need more support in areas of protection, and at the same time to be able to see the process of evolution of the same within park. In the future, the park will have to continue to be protected as before. According to the newspaper The Universe, new control booths have been put in the park. More park rangers have been hired to take care of the different areas of this park. The government established the order for 3 new boats that will allow the control of the adjacent way in the areas connected to the Isla de la Plata. The new threats because the park has marine life is that people may want to exploit this site a lot and increase contamination in its watery areas. The future of this park is linked to tourism marketing, known as human activity aimed at satisfying needs and desires through exchange processes, required to the transitory result of each promotional strategy. It is essential to build a plan that allows composing with each other and with the other objectives of the protected area.